Hello and welcome. Good to have you join us on Nationwide. Thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. The Senate has condemned the alleged killing of a Nigerian woman, Elizabeth Chukwu, in a hotel in South Africa. The motion moved by the minority leader of the Senate, Senator Eyinaya Baribe, also commended the federal government of Nigeria for its swift response towards the unfortunate incidents. The legislators, however, urged the government of South Africa to carry out investigation into the matter and bring the culprits to book. The legislators also urged the federal government to issue travel alerts to Nigerians traveling to South Africa. The Senate is to liaise with the House of Representatives in finding lasting solution to the crisis rocking the Edo State House of Assembly. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives at Wednesday's plenary resolved to ensure that adequate security measures are put in place for the safety of personnel and property of the National Assembly. The resolutions follow the motion of urgent public importance by the House Minority Leader Ndidi Elumelu from Delta State on Tuesday's invasion of the National Assembly by the Shiites group, so as to amicably resolve whatever their grievances are, as well as find a way to compensate security personnel and others who are victims of the incident. The House also resolved to ascertain if the officers involved are insured under Group Personnel Accident Scheme. 5 officials of a New Generation bank have been remanded in prison custody by an FCT High Court in Maitama for alleged involvement in forgery and the theft of 86 million naira. The accused persons are facing a 5-count charge before Justice Peter Afem Olabodiarewa reports.
The 5 persons, namely Blessing Oyelowo, Justina Okemeka, Adeni Adenio, Uchechukwu Abanta Njoku, and Oluwemi Dada, were arraigned in court along with the bank. The police prosecutor, Patrick Okele, told the court that the accused persons allegedly procured a fake bank guarantee letter valued at 86 million naira, with which they collected 6 luxury vehicles from Triple Motors Limited in Kano. The police added that the accused used a local purchase order and converted the cars to personal use, an offense contrary to Section 363 of the Penal Code. The prosecution tendered 13 exhibits to support the charge. The accused persons pleaded not guilty to the charge, while their counsel, Wilson Iva, pleaded for their bail. The court granted them bail in the sum of 86 million naira each and 2 sureties, who must own landed property worth 86 million naira within Abuja. Meanwhile, they are to remain in Suleja prison custody until they meet the bail conditions. The case has been adjourned to the 17th of November 2019 for continuation. In Abuja, Olabodiarewa, NTA News.
This special investigative panel on the recovery of public property is beaming its searchlight on the activities of the Petroleum Equalization Fund, PEF, to ascertain its culpability in the shady award of refined petroleum products contracts from NNPC depots. The investigation is coming on the heels of the discovery of billions of naira and properties allegedly linked to 2 officials of the fund. Olabodiarewa again reports that in line with its presidential mandate to assist the anti-corruption agencies to recover public funds, the Special Investigative Panel commenced investigation into the finances of Mr. Godi Nadi, a General Manager, Corporate Services at the Petroleum Equalization Fund, PEF. The suspect having allegedly admitted during interrogation that some oil companies deposited monies totaling 2.2 billion naira, over 300 million euros, and £2,000 into his bank accounts to facilitate award of oil contracts. The panel says it is working to ensure forfeiture of the monies. The panel is also working to recover 1.4 billion naira from one Aisha Usman, another general manager with the fund.
And defend himself before the court of law.
The panel recently recovered 77 million naira from a bank which made illegal deductions from government accounts in its custody. Let's bring you some updates on the Ijegun fire incident in Lagos as we now join Ruth. Hello, Ruth.
Thank you, Lydia, and welcome to Lagos. The Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, has visited some of the petroleum depots in Ijegun area of Lagos State to ascertain the capability of the depot to handle emergency. Thomas Ogbetere reports that the move is geared towards ensuring the safety of lives and property of stakeholders and the public.
The recent fire outbreak in Ijegun area of Lagos State that led to the destruction of lives and property worth millions of naira is no doubt a thing of concern to government, stakeholders, and members of the public. Therefore, it is high time to put measures in place to avoid future occurrence of such ugly incidents. This was part of the reasons why the Department of Petroleum Resources deemed it necessary to visit some of the petroleum depots in the area to ascertain their level of preparedness in case of any fire outbreak. The leader of the DPRO team said part of the assessment is to find out how people could respond to emergencies.
Collective safety activation is that a depot has an emergency issue. We want to see how that depot activates to tackle that emergency and how other depots around it in the cluster also reacted. Because fire may start from a depot and it can spread to the whole of the cluster. So everybody should be ready.
One of the depot managers who confirmed that there are enough products to sustain the country for a long time also said owners of the cluster of depots in the area are also embarking on building a fire station to tackle and prevent incidents.
We have our safety personnel from there who are checking the truck, doing safety load check to ensure absolute safety compliance.
Some of the depots were also made to stimulate and demonstrate how their staff could respond to fire outbreak.
We are coming, you have to come in now. You have to stay, please come
in. In Lagos, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, has seized substandard galvanized steel roofing sheets valued at 38 million naira from a warehouse in Ogba, Lagos. Rotimi Oluwagbemi compiled this report.
The warehouse located at number 10 Ajayi Road, Aguda, Ogba, was not sealed off by the task force team from the Standards Organization of Nigeria, because some of the roofing sheets passed the quality test. The Director, Inspectorate and Compliance Department of SON, Obiora Marafa, said the evacuation became necessary to reduce the rate of substandard building materials in the country.
The minimum thickness is 0.15, but we have seen that most of the things we have here are below the minimum thickness, 0.13, 0.12, and so on and so forth. And this is something we don't want to allow to get into the market. So we are going through every nook and cranny of the country, even the markets, warehouses, factories. Anywhere we see them, we move them away. Okay? Because anybody buying them does not have value, for the money.
The owner of the warehouse was not available at the time of the seizure, probably for the fear of arrest.
She is described as a woman with a creative mind, energetic and highly productive. Even in death, those whose lives she touched are yet to come to terms with the reality of her death. Annie Daniels reports that it was a night of endless encomium at the commendation service for late Dr. Mrs. Estella Ouya, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Theatre in Lagos.
Amin, amin, Dr. Stella Oyedepo was an accomplished playwright and a seasoned administrator. She was the executive director of Kwara State Council for Arts and Culture for 8 years. She was afterwards appointed the general manager and chief executive officer of the National Theatre, Lagos, in April 2018.
Mama pay us our disengagement allowance. The person that we didn't work with. So it's a mother.
This is why family, friends and professional colleagues have come out in their numbers to bid farewell to a woman popularly called Mama.
That moment, our customers, our clients had to go. They were discouraged. But when Mama came, she called the management and said, please, whatever you can do to bring these people back, to drive the traffic, human traffic back to the national, you must do.
Even though Atumana that is being married to, everybody love him, they love her there. So he's doing well in the family, he's doing well within the community.
Stella Oyedepo died on the 22nd of April 2019 at the age of 70. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues with Lydia in Abuja.
Many thanks, Ruth. And now to agriculture. Farmers in Jigawa State have promised to ensure high level of commitment in contributing to federal government agenda of ensuring food security in the country. This is disclosed in Ringim when farmers affected by the 2018 flood have been presented with farm inputs as compensation. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu was there.
144,892.56 hectares of farmlands were washed away by the 2018 flood, and the disaster affected 232,989 farmers in 14 states, and out of which Jigawa State has the highest number of farmers of about 73,000 in 19 out of the 27 local government areas of the state. These threats to federal government agenda on food security prompted the government to approve 33 billion naira as compensation, with 10 billion naira to victims of herders farmers crisis in 7 states and 23 billion naira to victims of flood in 14 states. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, verified the affected farmers across the country to hear out the distribution. Agrochemicals, improved seeds and fertilizers were presented to the affected farmers.
So we are very much appreciating the effort of the government.
Me, I am a farmer, so I am very happy.
We thank the government for this gesture.
Jigawa happens to be one of the most affected states in terms of the flood disaster. And this committee is actually on ground to enumerate and verify the list of farmers that were sent by the state government and provide this distribution.
The owner of one affected hectare of farmland is entitled to 9 bags of fertilizer and other agricultural inputs. From Ringim in Jigawa State, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Federal government is empowering operators of commodity markets in Kano with modern techniques of standards and global best practices of preserving agricultural commodity and implication of improper application of agrochemicals, which affects the quality of the country's products, resulting to poor patronage at the international commodity markets, leading to deficit in foreign earnings. This renewed impetus is coming on the heels of the present administration's diversification policy, which seeks to reinvigorate non-oil sector as a key player in revenue generation. Muhammad Rabi'u reports.
The door-to-door campaign was carried out by the Department of Extension Services under the Federal Ministry of Agriculture to drum support for the ongoing effort to place agriculture in a strategic position to serve as a major revenue earner in the country. The campaign identified improper application of agrochemicals on Nigeria's agricultural commodities as major impediment which affect its markets.
And one very good thing about the sensitization campaign and our no grains market is that they are willing and ready to key into our sensitization activity.
that we should adhere to all the lectures, all the teaching that was given. We are taught on how to use chemicals, even if at all. We are asked to desist from certain chemicals.
The sensitization campaign also created a platform for operators of grains market in Dawanau to realize reasons for the failure of nations' commodities at the international markets. The appeal for more aggressive enlightenment campaign against the use of anything that will reduce the quality of commodities produced by the country. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Our next report from Maiduguri says Borno State Government and Development Partners Group are streamlining humanitarian response and commitment for successful interventions. Mohammed Goni reports that the UN, European Union, other bilateral and multilateral agencies were all represented.
Between the Borno State Government, led by the State Governor, Professor Babagana Umara, and the Development Partners Group, held behind closed doors, discussed, among other issues, the promotion of effective development dialogue. The meeting also tables the need to strengthen the existing strategies, which all donor and humanitarian partners will key into. The move is meant to avoid duplication in service delivery, while partners work in line with their mandates, with Borno State Government taking the lead.
We want to have a very strong institutional mechanism on ground to coordinate all the activities of development partners and humanitarian partners in Borno State.
By implication, is what the NLP is doing. We're just trying to streamline this towards Borno State alone for today.
What we aim to do is to see how we can partner and coordinate for effective usage of resources.
The state government was appreciative of the humanitarian efforts of development partners over the years and look forward to a greater collaboration with them. Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Controversy hinders payment of June's salary in Zamfara State. Let's get details of this and other stories from Nura in Sokoto.
Thank you and welcome to Sokoto. Controversy has hindered the meeting of the Joint Allocation Committee for the month of June in Zamfara State. This has resulted in non-payment of June's salary for local government employees and primary school teachers in the state. Jamil Ibrahim has more.
The Joint Allocation Committee meeting for the month of June in the Zamfara State ended in deadlock as all the 14 local government council chairmen disagreed with the state government on the sharing formula. Chairman Marado Local Government Council and spokesman of the Algon in Zamfara State, Alhaji Ahmad Abubakar, who addressed a press conference in Gusau, alleged that the state government has withheld the council's funds in flagrant abuse of the let-down rules.
The installment happened when we were made to understand that the state government is willing to disburse only 5 million naira to the local government for the random, the whole local government, just 5 million naira. Then the question is, how do we go about the current National Financial Intelligence Unit guidelines for the disbursement of local government funds?
The local government council chairmen, who were all elected in the platform of the All Progressives Congress APC, advised the PDP-led administration and the state to have a rethink on the matter, stressing that they will resort to taking legal action if it remains adamant. In the meantime, Zamfara state government accused the local government council chairman of playing politics with the issue.
This is just a baseless allegations, I'm telling you this. If it is true, they should show the public or the president, these are the documents we were given. Not any document to that effect.
Alhaji Yusuf Idris, who maintained that Governor Bello Muhammad is always committed to the rule of law, advised the council's chairman to join hands with the present administration in its effort to move the state to the next level. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
A conference of principals of secondary schools lauded the effort of President Muhammadu Buhari for establishment of National Secondary Schools Commission. This came to the fore at the opening of the National Conference of the Association held in Sokoto. Muhammad Nasir completes the report.
The 62nd conference had participants from 36 states of the Federation and Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. It is an avenue for educationists to review challenges confronting the education sector, particularly at secondary school level, with a view to addressing them. The conference, with the theme Challenges of Politics in Educational Development in Nigeria, featured paper presentations and discussions. Participants believe that establishment of National Secondary School Commission by the federal government will go a long way in resuscitating secondary education in the country.
Direct attention on the activities of the industry in Nigeria.
stop sacrificing it at the altar of politics. There's a lot of political interventions that are inimical to the progress of education in this country. And I want to commend the President for what he has done by setting up the Secondary School Commission. That one will give us a focus.
Sokoto State government says it is committed to improving standard of education through prompt payment of teachers' salaries and declaration of state of emergency in the education sector. High point was presentation of prizes to students who excel at the national quiz competition and award of emeritus to hardworking members of the conference. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from this end is back to Abuja for the continuation of the Nationwide.
Many thanks, Nura. You're watching NTA Nationwide. Time for some messages. The news returns shortly. Stay with us.
Enjoy the best of African football as NTA, Africa's largest television network and hotspots, Nigeria's foremost sports production and marketing company, bring you all 52 matches of the Africa Cup of Nations, Egypt 2019 live from June 21 to July 19, 2019. Yes, all 52 games will hit your screens in crystal clear digital quality. It's your guarantee of a memorable viewing experience and a wonderful cost-effective opportunity for corporate Nigeria to reach tens of millions of Nigerians. For sponsorship and commercial support, contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. Hot Sports, masters of the game. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, invites all secretaries to state governments, permanent secretaries, heads of cabinet affairs offices in the southeast geopolitical zone, consisting of Enugu, Ebonyi, Anambra, Imo, and Abia, to the second in the series of the regional meeting held for secretaries to state governments and heads, permanent secretaries of cabinet affairs offices, which is a follow-up meeting on the outcome of the maiden meeting held in the second quarter of 2019 in Abuja for secretaries to the state governments, permanent secretaries, heads of cabinet affairs offices. The meeting is designed to, among other things, develop a synergy between the cabinet affairs offices at the federal and state levels in order to develop a framework for a community practice. Follow-up meeting is scheduled to hold as follows. Date, Thursday, July 11, 2019. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, Golden Tulip, Agulu Lake Hotel, Awka, Anambra State. Announcer, Babatunde Lawal, Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Affairs Office, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Many thanks for staying. The continuation of the pre-hearing of the People's Democratic Movement at the Presidential Election Petitions Court has been stalled during the resumed hearing this Wednesday. The development is due to a motion on notice signifying the withdrawal of the party from the case. Dele Atumbi reports.
At the last sitting of the Presidential Election Petitions Court on the pre-hearing of the petition of the People's Democratic Movement and its candidate Amici Abu on June 27, 2019, the court adjourned the matter to Wednesday, July 10, 2019 for further hearing. However, on Tuesday, July 9, 2019, counsel to the party, Morrison Onuno, acting on the directive of Chairman Frank Igbodike, filed an application notifying the court of the intention of the party to withdraw from the petition. This necessitated the filing of counter affidavit and reply on the point of law from the counsel to the candidate of the party, Aliu Lemu. While the counsel to President Muhammadu Buhari, Wole Olanipekun, SAN, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN for the APC, and Usman Ustaz, SAN for INEC, all respondents in this matter, were ready for the hearing of the application. Counsel to the party who brought the application, Morrison Onuno, pleaded with the court for time to file his counter affidavit and reply on the point of law. The five-man Presidential Election Petitions Court led by Justice Mohammed Garba, which will have given its hearing report this Wednesday and proceeded to the hearing of the substantive matter in the petition, has to adjourn the matter to July 18, 2019 for the argument of the application. The party and its candidate before now were pleading with the court for the nullification of the presidential election conducted on February 23, 2019 due to the purported exclusion of the party's logo in the ballot paper.
Party cannot withdraw from the hearing of the petition midway. Even if they are not interested anymore, they remain necessary parties and will remain till the petition is fully determined.
The party, in its wisdom, reviewed the entirety of the petition and resolved and took the decision to withdraw as a petitioner. It doesn't fetch the petition or the first petitioner. He can go on with his petition. What the party is saying is that they're more interested in the petition because it is the interest of the party and of the nation to withdraw as a petitioner.
Also this Wednesday, the petition of the Hope Democratic Party and its candidate Ambrose Owuru came up for hearing. The petitioners, through their counsel Chukwu Njoku, came up with an application. Counsel to President Muhammadu Buhari, Wole Olanipekun, SAN, opposed the application, describing it as an abuse of court process. Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, counsel to the APC, raised the issue of the petitioners filing their reply on the point of law out of time. Relying on the decisions in Ekechukwu against INEC and Omishori versus Aregbesola, Fagbemi, SAN, and counsel to the other respondents urged the court to dismiss the application. The court reserved ruling on the matter to a later date. The Presidential Election Petitions Court adjourned further hearing on the Hope Democratic Party's petition to July 18, 2019. Meanwhile, the court will this Thursday continue hearing of the petition of the PDP and its candidate Atiku Abubakar. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Despite being the key driver of Nigeria's economy, the power sector has suffered major setback in the past few decades. However, the concerted efforts of the Buhari administration of massive investments is hastening the revival of the sector. This was the views expressed by guests on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live. Doing Dia reports.
A test of the everyday hustle of Nigerians for power generation, which explains the importance of electricity to the development of commerce and industry. With an installed capacity of 12,500 megawatts of electricity, concerns are raised on why the country's power generation still stands below 8,000 megawatts despite the huge investments made by past administrations. Guests on Tuesday Live attributed the shortfalls to lack of strategic transitional plan by those in charge of the sector.
There are transparency issues also with regards to payment timelines as the settlement system.
Unlike other countries who have suffered similar fate but have surmounted such challenges, experts on the program say Nigeria can also take advantage of the alternative sources of energy such as the wind, hydro and solar system.
These are areas that if we really generate power from, we can do that from different locations of the country.
And automatically, the cluster strength of the industries that is sustained in those nations is vested and dependent on the electricity sector.
For the managing director of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, Usman Gur Mohammed, the Transition Expansion and Rehabilitation Program already initiated by the government is scaling up production process, and so Nigeria will not only meet the expected electricity demand but have access for exports to other neighboring countries for foreign income.
All the places where we have weakness like Alauji, Uweri, Iyala, Onitsha line, Kano, Kaduna, Shiroro, Kaduna, all those lines we are fixing them.
The guests were unanimous that if government can sustain the tempo of improvements in power generation and distribution, Nigeria will soon overcome its unemployment and as well boost industrialization. In Abuja, Doing Dia, NTA News.
Nationwide, will now continue on NTA International DSTV channel 251 and NTA News 24 channel 101 on the StarTimes platform. The AFCON studios now open for first quarter final match between Senegal and Republic of Benin on the terrestrial transmission, on the network service, and on StarTimes channel 103. Assets for feature and recovery have been applauded by guests on NTA's Current Affairs program.